Welcome to the Clive Burkhofer Stadium. Apologies for the short delay. You've not missed much of the action here in this National Premier League Queensland clash between the Magpies Crusaders and South West Queensland Thunder, although that would have been some way to introduce you to this live stream had that Pablo Perez free kick just crept in the correct side of the post in behalf of the visitors. But you're with us now, so welcome to increasingly chilly Toowoomba on what has turned into a beautiful day. It was pouring with rain here this morning, and it's turned out beautifully for this afternoon's entertainment, and we should be entertained. It's the Thunder who are 10th against the Magpies Crusaders who are 12th. The Thunder have been in sensational form over the last few weeks, although have suffered a couple of narrow defeats in that time. The Magpies Crusaders having a slightly rougher time of it more recently, but they did only narrowly lose to Moreton Bay United last week, just proving that they're a tough team to beat and a real tenacious group of battlers. Here's Travis Cooper, incidentally, in the South West Queensland Thunder, number 7 shirt. They're in the blue, kicking from right to left in this first half. It's just over 5 minutes gone here, and we'll run you quickly through the teams. Just a quick reminder of the sponsors who enable us to have these live streams and get these teams on the park each week. For the South West Queensland Thunder, that is the Federal Hotel and Clive Burkhofer land sales. As that ball just evades the head of Travis Cooper once again. Magpies Crusaders, I'd like to thank McDonald's Mackay and the Mackay City Auto Group for their continued support. The Total Tools referee team is James Sherry, with assistant referees being Kian Riley and Alexander Horn. We'll just run you quickly through the teams while we have them as well. Starting with the hosts, in goal is Mario Apparazio, and just before kickoff we did have a moment's silence for the 32-year-old goalkeeper coach here at the Thunder. His mother died unexpectedly last weekend while the team were in Townsville. That 1-0 win over North Queensland United. Really devastating loss for Mario. His dad died when he was just 11 years old, and his mother was a real driving factor in his footballing career, but had the moment's silence, and Mario himself said that because his mum was such a key influencer in his career that she would want him to keep playing today, and so he has lined up. It will be an undoubtedly emotional occasion for him. And we wish him all the best and offer all our condolences to both he and his family who are in the stands beneath us this evening here at the Clive Burkhofer Stadium in Toowoomba. So it is Mario Apparazio in goal, and in front of him is number 2 Nick Edwards, number 3 Keelan Sheridan, number 5 Wade Hall, captain number 6 Jacob Bigby. We've mentioned number 7 Travis Cooper a couple of times already, number 8 Emmanuel Phillip, number 11 Chris Hatfield, number 15 Anthony Grant, number 22 Carl Parrish, number 23 Daniel Webber. The ball now, Anthony Grant. It goes wide to Edwards. Could have attempted to slide that ball in, but chose not to, and instead it'll be with Magpies Crusaders, number 10 Lewis Farquhar. He's captaining the boys from the Tropical North this evening. And their team lines up as such: number 20 Ryan Ramsden, number 2 Warwick Jensen, number 3 Brandon Callaghan, number 4 Isaiah Kennel, number 6 Alan Jackson, number 8 Jeremy Green. We've already mentioned Lewis Farquhar, and number 10 jersey, number 13 Maguire Quackerwoot, number 14 Pablo Perez, number 18 Jaden Salam, number 20 Ryan Ramsden, we've already mentioned in goal in the green to our left, number 21 Ezra Kennel. Two sides shared a 7-goal thriller up in Mackay at the start of the season, or round 7 of the season at least. So we should be expecting some exciting action this evening here at Clive Burkhofer Stadium, and it's been a venue that has seen plenty of late action over the last few weeks. South West Queensland Thunder surrendering leads to both the Strikers and Olympic over the past 2 of the past 3 weeks. Desperately unfortunate. They were leading against the current league leaders Olympic by 2 goals with just 8 minutes remaining before Costa Passaros and Alex Smith got onto the score sheet, and a couple of other more damaging impacts to that game, which we'll mention slightly later as the game continues. Here's Cooper. Had to wait for it and took his time, bided his time, and didn't get all of, or indeed any, really, of that shot, and just trickles wide. Give a couple of scores from around the grounds over the course of the weekend. We had a thriller out of the Cleveland Showgrounds last night. Redlands United 5, Brisbane City 5. And often get 10 goals in a game, and certainly not share. Defence optional out there on the Bayside. And in the early kick-off today, Sunshine Coast were comfortably defeated by 2 goals in each half by Lions, who have momentarily at least moved to the top of the table. Cosgrove, Mitch Hoare, Marek Madley and Solorzano, the goal scorers there up on the Sunshine Coast. So 10 goals in one game, 4 goals in the next. Obviously plenty of action in the National Premier League's Queensland this evening. Here up on the Darling Downs. Beautiful stadium here in Toowoomba, the old Toowoomba Showgrounds. Toowoomba Sports Grounds, apologies. It really is a fantastic venue. Fantastic view from up here in the roof of all the action, and both sides just feeling each other out a little bit at the moment. Here's Farquhar. You can see the pitch slightly cutting up already. As I mentioned, had 3 or 4 days of near constant rain up on the range this week, and it's only stopped in the last few hours, and you wouldn't guess it from the beautiful blue sky, or sky that's just turning slightly pink as the sun goes down behind us in the grandstand. But it was the scene of this near constant rain, but it is what it is, and I think the ground underfoot will be a little slippy, and that'll be something both teams will have to look out for and watch for over the course of the game. I mentioned that South West Queensland have had a couple of exciting encounters over the last few weeks here at Clive Burkhofer Stadium. Their overall record this season at their home ground hasn't been all that flash. They've played 7, just 7 for the first 5 games of the season were all played away due to refurbishments taking place in the dressing room beneath us. They lost 4 of their 7 matches with just 2 wins and a draw. 2 of those 4 defeats came in the last 2 home matches here, although, as we've already mentioned, they were by incredibly narrow margins. Funnily enough, they've had much better luck, if you like, at their alternate venue over in Gatton, venue I've streamed from before earlier this season for the women against Gold Coast United, as Jackson does well but can't squeeze his cross into the penalty area for the Magpies Crusaders. As I was saying, much better luck at Gatton. They've played 2, won 1, drawn 1. Well, they did lose against the Raw Youth in round 1, a rearranged game in round 1 that was a nominal away fixture for the Thunder that was played in Gatton due to the Raw's slightly nomadic nature at the start of the season before the Logan Metro Sports Centre got up and running. It was lovely skill from Lewis Farquhar over on that far side, and he's on the ball once more. He's a tricky player. It's a fantastic shot just over the top. That's good football from Magpies Crusaders. They're looking strong here. They don't have a great away record in 2018. They're first in the National Premier League's Queensland, of course, for the new entity. They played 10 games away from Mackay and won just 2. And they lost their last 2 away games by 5-0 against the Pride and Lions, both in the Western Corridor. And we've been very generous. This could be seen as an extension of that Western Corridor, so a positive omen, if you like, for the Thunder. We do a good job here. It's a relatively sparse crowd beneath us. If you suffer from vertigo, looking directly beneath us is not advised, as I've just found out. In a fantastic position, right on top of the dugouts, and both managers, Francesco Zancanelli and Carlos Garcia, are just standing motionless on the edge of their technical area. Francesco Zancanelli just coming back to lean on the fence now. He's overall satisfied with the way his team have defended so far. They haven't had as much of the ball as he would have liked in these opening exchanges. Here's Ezra Kennel bundled off the ball, and an opportunity perhaps for Travis Cooper. He plays the ball back inside, but Anthony Grant can't keep hold of it, the Toowoomba youth product, and instead it falls for Farquhar, who's popping up all over the field at the moment, and that was something between a cross and a shot and a through ball, and ended up being none of the three. Ends up going just out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Mario Apparazio. Former Olympic player, played for a spell at Moreton Bay United as well. Even made it into the National Soccer League with Parramatta Power in the death throes of that competition. A few years ago now. He's been working as the goalkeeper coach here in Toowoomba for a little while, sharing duties with Western Pride, which will make him unavailable for the match next week, where the Thunder do take on the Pride here at Clive Berghofer Stadium. They then host Lions as well. It's a run of home games here at Clive Berghofer Stadium for the Thunder. You haven't got out here for a game yet, you should definitely consider it, as you would perhaps expect. Have Thunderstruck blaring from the loudspeakers, getting everybody in the mood, and I'm certainly in the mood up here in the commentary box, just all bopping away, if bopping's the right words, to AC/DC. The looks I've just got, probably bopping isn't the word. Cross comes in, dangerous cross right onto the head of Keegan Sheridan, but he hasn't scored since June the 25th, 2016, and got no closer there, although he will perhaps break that duck today if he gets too many more opportunities to head the ball cleanly inside the penalty area. Something that Magpies Crusaders will have to be aware of, as that clearance from Ryan Ramsden is cut out on its way to Ezra Kennel by Travis Cooper, who's been all over the place and in fact did score back in round 7 up in Mackay in that sensational come from behind victory. The Magpies Crusaders were winning by 3-1 just after the hour mark before Cooper made it 3-2, and then a Jaden Connor own goal in the 88th minute, and then an Anthony Grant winner in injury time ensured that all 3 points will be travelling back down to the range with the Thunder side. So unfortunate for the Magpies Crusaders. That was in a run where they weren't getting much luck at the start of the season, and Carlos Garcia did speak to the Football Queensland website. Check that out actually on the Football Queensland website. It's footballqueensland.com.au. An excellent interview with the former Real Madrid youth coach, just explaining the problems perhaps of the big game up in Mackay on Thursday this week when they host the Roar in a pre-season match. Ball is headed clear and will be cut out, or attempted to be cut out by Farquhar, but Thunder do retain possession. Oh, nice skill over on that far side. That got the locals excited, and now it's coming to the near post. It had to be dealt with by Isaiah Kennel. The 17-year-old, safety first, launched that ball clear. And it will be a corner for the Thunder. And saying the Magpies Crusaders will play the Roar on Thursday as part of the FQ Community Cup celebrations. It's kicking off tomorrow up in Mackay. Corner goes out on the full, not a good one. Over from that far side. And it gives me an opportunity to talk about the statewide junior representative tournament, under 12s through to under 16s for the boys and under 13s and 15s for the girls. There'll be 50 teams up in Mackay and the 3 National Premier League's regional teams from the north. It's a good opportunity for them to get some opposition from around the state and get away from the local competition for a little while. And as part of those celebrations, and should ensure a big crowd, as an opportunity perhaps falls for Salam. It was well saved by Aparicio. The Thunder will build from the back. There's a captive audience up in Mackay for the Magpies Crusaders against Raw. It's taking place on Thursday, 7 o'clock at the BB Print Stadium. You can get your tickets from OzTix. So check that out. Again, more details are on the Football Queensland and Brisbane Raw websites. This has a nice touch over towards Travis Cooper. Cooper has all the time in the world and can't put it past Ramsden. That's a really good save. The Magpies Crusaders will take the ball away at the back, and then that was good work from Travis Cooper. Is that not a Thunder throw? Not according to our Total Tools referee, James Sherry. It's a fair distance from it, and it wasn't favourable for the assistant referee on this near side either, so bit of luck. Here's an opportunity again, perhaps, for an opening goal. Lewis Farquhar, he's going to have another opportunity. And that one just fizzes wide of the post. Aparicio came and made himself as big as he could, got a big piece of the ball first up, and then Farquhar couldn't put the rebound in either. End-to-end stuff here at the Clive Burkhofer Stadium in the opening 20 minutes. This game has instantly burst into life. Nice ball over towards Edwards. Edwards is going to cut back inside, and ball is played out by Tito Jackson, the 2017 Ken Lorimer medalist and Wanderers FC legend. He's played over a century of games. Up there for the Wanderers in Mackay has Alan Jackson. As Cooper's making a nuisance of himself, but it's gone beyond him. It's going to fall instead to Webber, and Webber cuts it back inside to Parrish. It was too far ahead of him, and the Magpies Crusaders will clear. Salam working hard and can't quite keep the ball in play. A couple of claps of the hands from Carlos Garcia, who did acknowledge that his team were in a relegation battle in that interview on the Football Queensland website during the week. And we saw the wet surface come into play there with Mackay Kwakawu unable to retain his footing. That's a lovely through ball, but just too heavy, and it'll be a goal kick, which will be taken by Ramsden, who made that sensational save just a few short moments ago to keep his side in it from Travis Cooper, who arguably should have done better. He had the time. Although the defence were chasing him down, still be disappointed that he didn't open the scoring for the Thunder and add to his 4 goals this season. He does only have 4 goals, but he's in fine goal scoring form. He scored 3 in the last 4 weeks against Brisbane, or 4 matches, sorry, against Brisbane City, the Strikers and Olympic, after scoring against Magpies Crusaders in round 7. So he's in good form, and he's lurking on the edge of the penalty area now. He wants this long throw and gets the long throw. Blimey, that's a Rory Delap-esque effort from the home side, and it'll be an opportunity to deliver from the corner. It's Chris Hatfield, who's wandering over to take this one. He's hoping for a slightly better delivery this time. Former Fraser Park player in New South Wales, and that is a good delivery, and it has to be punched by Ramsden. Fortunately, it falls for Farquhar, and he will launch a counter-attack of his own, and it's good pace over on that far side by Warwick Janssen, and so Mackay Kwakawoods. It's not his. Drayden Salam over on that far side, apologies. midway through this first half, an opportunity at the other end. Seen a couple of good saves so far, a couple of good opportunities for both sides. And will Magpies Crusaders manage to break the deadlock? Swung in by Farquhar. It's a good ball by Farquhar. Almost fell for Quackaroot as well. Zaya Kennel's now out of position. He's racing back. Counter-attack is on. Through ball to Grant. Grant has Cooper. Just racing into the penalty area, but it will be a corner. He couldn't beat the first man. It was Alan Jackson who got his body in the way, I think. It was either he or Warwick Janssen. Chasing back, and another opportunity. We're going from right to left and left to right. With alacrity here in the opening 20 minutes. That's a good opportunity perhaps for Sheridan. He was always off balance. It would have been a fine goal. He's had a couple of opportunities now, Keegan Sheridan. Been with the Thunder pretty much from the off, excluding a brief 2014 sojourn towards Ipswich with the Pride, where he played 24 games and scored 1 goal. He's then returned and since played 72 matches between 2015 and 18 for our hosts this evening, which is just one shy of equaling the record. Held by Jacob Bigby. Zaya Kennel goes down under that challenge. Sorry, Mate commits the foul, sorry, on Daniel Webber, and helped out over on that far side by Jackson. We've seen how dangerous these long throws from Edwards can be. We'll have to keep an eye on those over the course of the evening. Here comes Farquhar. He's forced back those. Good defending from the Thunder, and that's really good work by Dan Webber. Only made his senior debut last year. Involved in his 14th match this season. Did manage a goal as well against the Brisbane Roar. It's a decent ball. Anthony Grant just a little bit too far ahead of him. It was comfortably dealt with by Ramsden. Seven and a half minutes gone. It's South West Queensland Thunder 0, Magpies Crusaders 0. If you've just joined us, had a couple of fine saves at each end. Mario Aparicio and Ryan Ramsden both called upon to maintain their clean sheets so far. It's worth mentioning as well, but it's Mario Aparicio's second start of the season, only his second start of the season. He kept a clean sheet on debut as Lewis Farquhar dived in there and was made a little bit of a fool of by the neat turn over on this near side by Cooper, who was looking for the ball once again, was just unable to get there. Jansen continued his run. Jansen's going to break into penalty area. Quackwoot's made a run. It never got to him, though. Parrish was on hand to deflect the ball away for a throw-in. We'll see if the Magpies Crusaders have enough of a long throw to cause damage, just as the Thunder have. Play back inside to Sheridan. Here's Jansen. That's neat from Jansen. Jansen will cross too deep this time. It's just over the top. Lewis Farquhar was in attendance. Wind is coming from behind us here at Clive Burkhofer Stadium, and that's a nasty challenge. That will play on, says the Total Tools referee, but looks like Nick Edwards, and it certainly sounded like Nick Edwards, really copped a hard one on the shin there. He's just up on his haunches now, and I think we're going to deal with the incident, and it is going to be a yellow card shown to Brandon Callaghan, which you'd have to say is probably fair enough. Perhaps worth mentioning the discipline of both teams, particularly Magpies Crusaders. It's let them down on occasion. They have received 6 red cards so far this season to 5 different players. Andrew Kreber, Colin McBurney, Mackay Quackawoot, Michael Lyle, who's had 2, and Pablo Perez the other. So they do happen, and that has cost the Magpies Crusaders, particularly today, an experience and goal scoring threat. Carl Markham was booked for his 8th yellow card of the season last week against Moreton Bay United. It's one of 36 yellow cards that the South West Queensland Thunder have received so far this season in their 18 matches. He received that yellow card against Moreton Bay United last week, which ruled him out both this week and next week, if I've got my suspensions correct. And Michael Lyle as well, he picked up his 2nd red card of the season. And so he's out as well, and together that's 20 of the 30 goals that Magpies Crusaders have scored. So getting the ball in the back of the net might be a bit of a problem for the visitors this afternoon. In fact, Lewis Farquhar with 4 is the only player. He's the highest goal scorer for the Magpies Crusaders on the park at the moment. That's not all that many. Here's Ezra Kennell. He has 1 goal this season against Redlands United. He's done well there, and he's linking up with Farquhar, and that's a really good tackle over on that touchline by Emmanuel Phillip. It's just at the expense of a throw-in, which Magpies Crusaders take, and it's Farquhar who retains possession. Farquhar's doing really well here. He needs support though. And that was not the best ball to Callaghan. It could come back to him though, but it's hooked clear by Parrish. Quackawoot chose not to let that ball run out, and now Magpies Crusaders involved in a little bit of a tussle on this near side underneath us, right in front of the Thunder bench. It's a little bit untidy all of a sudden, and that's a nice through ball to Hatfield. And it's still there for Hatfield. Couldn't be dealt with by Ezra Kennell. First opportunity. Grant. It's just hooked clear before it got to Cooper. It's going to go all the way over though. It's a good opportunity for the host. It's come back to Cooper. Oh, that was very, very close. And doesn't Travis Cooper know it? The inquest has started. In the back 4 for Magpies Crusaders, but very much after the fact, that could have been a little bit uncomfortable for the Crusaders. In fact, it was uncomfortable for the Magpies Crusaders, and they've Really got away with one there. It was a lovely ball coming in. Travis Cooper's looked very dangerous so far. He's a man in form, as we've already spoken about. Again, a little bit untidy in front of us, but it's a nice skill from Mackay Kwakawut, and he plays the ball inside to Callaghan. It's cut out, but it will only come back as far as Zaya Kennel. Back inside to Farquhar. Kennel. It's Jordan Salam. It's related to both Kennels. There's 4 relations in the Magpies Crusaders side. Isaiah and Ezra Kennel, of course. Mackay Kwakawut is a cousin. And Jaden Salam, also part of the Magpies Crusaders family. And exciting young players, and that's part of what Carlos Garcia mentioned in his interview. Saying that the main factor is avoiding relegation. They're in a fight. The relegation is an opportunity. Magpies player down. It might not matter. As far as the Thunder are concerned, Hatfield inches away from getting on the end of that, but Alan Jackson was left on the ground, and there's a couple of questions being asked there of our Total Tools referee, James Sherry. The various disciplinary issues between the two sides. You may have a busy night, although when they last did battle, if that's the right word in these circumstances, there was only 1 yellow card in Mackay. Both teams developed a bit of a harder spine since then. It's another lovely ball forward towards Cooper. Cooper needs support. He does have it back, and a bit too far back towards Anthony Grant, but it's picked up by Emmanuel Phillip, and now an opportunity for Webber. Good defence by the Magpies Crusaders, and now a good counter-attack by Lewis Farquhar. Farquhar's got pace. He's got ambition. Jordan Salam is miles offside, and then Emmanuel Phillip concedes the free kick. That's excellent work from Lewis Farquhar. He didn't have much support. Salam, as we mentioned, about a mile offside, so couldn't play the ball through, and it's excellent defence. Excellent attack, sorry. Turning defence into attack by Lewis Farquhar. And will the Magpies make the Thunder pay? Francesco Zancanelli just alerting Chris Hatfield to the presence of Ezra Kennel on the edge. Farquhar's left fist for Mackay Kwakawut. Going to gone for goal. It's headed clear, first up. And a bit of miscommunication, and again it's a slightly slippy surface that's playing a little bit of a factor here in Toowoomba. It is wet underfoot. I did have a brief walk on the field before kickoff. You'll be able to see my pre-match summary, which is obviously a little bit dated now, on the Football Queensland social media, particularly Instagram, at Football QLD. And join in with the conversation. Let us know who you think is going to come out on top of this otherwise very tight encounter so far. This could break it open though. Here's Anthony Grant. He's through on goal. Oh, that's another good save by Ramsden. It was a long run from Anthony Grant. He's another who scored against the Crusaders up in Mackay in round 7. This is his most prolific season with the Thunder. He's scored 8 of his 13 goals. This season, did manage 8 in 5 games for the under-20s last year, so he's been a constantly improving player, as Anthony Grant. Gets that one upfield. There's a nice little flick on, a really nice flick on. It's an opportunity for Salam. It's lovely skill from Farquhar. Got a little bit too much of it in the end. Nice bit of ingenuity. It was a good flick on by Callaghan in the midfield too. So Route 1 football right down the middle sometimes does pay off if you're not paying attention, and it nearly paid off there for the visitors here. It is still South West Queensland Thunder 0, Magpies Crusaders 0. Just 5 minutes or so remaining before the half-time break. We break the deadlock before the interval. Callaghan was rather bundled off that, but that's a risky back pass. Farquhar was there, Prezio launched it clear, and it's up with Anthony Grant. Now wide, Hatfield's in the middle, off a crossbar. Well, we're getting closer to that opening goal. And you don't get much closer than that. Lovely cross, and then Chris Hatfield nearly ended his 4-game goal-scoring drought. Salam's battling. Thunder ball. A little bit of consternation down there between Jordan Salam and Mackay Kwakawut, but our assistant referee was fairly clear. It wasn't an ideal spot, and did get a few shouts of encouragement from the smattering of fans seated behind him in the main grandstand here at the Clive Burkoffer Stadium. Fantastic facility out here in Toowoomba. Do play the occasional NRL game. In fact, the Titans did play a game here earlier this season. That's lovely footwork on this near side by Hatfield. That's a good effort. What an opening goal that would have been from Nick Edwards. He's still got his head in his hands as he makes his way back to halfway, and he's still upset that he didn't hit the target. He knew that would have been one for the highlights reel to add to his 3 goals that he's already scored this season in what is his 11th game. Wasn't far off, and after Magpies Crusaders perhaps have the better of the opening 20 minutes, South West Queensland Thunder are really getting back into this one. Oh, it's a nice ball for Salam. He was just lurking on the last shoulder, but far too close to Aparicio. Flag up. It's near side. I think that's the first offside we've had in the game so far. It's not necessarily a fair reflection on the endeavour of the two teams and ambition. They've both pushed men forward. It's the first time the flag has gone up from my memory, admittedly short memory. Switched over to this near side. It was a little bit too far overhead, so it's an opportunity for Nick Edwards to unleash his powerfully long throw. Takes that one over halfway. Isaiah Kennel was there, the 17-year-old. Plenty of youngsters from the local competition in this Magpies Crusaders team. They are a young team, they're learning. You can only think they'll get better. There's an opportunity perhaps for Jaden Salam. Plays the ball across to Farquhar. Side netting. And Farquhar wants to perhaps come back for the foul on Jaden Salam, and Salam's in a spot of bother on the edge of the penalty area. He's walking away. Now he'll try and run that off, only a couple of minutes before half-time, so he'll be able to get some treatment if necessary, but it looks like he's moving okay now, so the ball is switched over towards Sheridan over on that far side. Now it's with Edwards. Edwards left-footed in towards Hatfield. Kwakawoot taking the ball forward to Farquhar, and Farquhar just let it get away from him and couldn't poke it through to Jaden Salam, and Salam isn't moving quite as well as he was before. Well, both sides content just to wait until half-time. Both teams have had opportunities. It does remain goalless, though, in this first half. Up on the range in Toowoomba. It's been an intriguing contest between the teams sitting in 10th and 12th on the Football Queensland National Premier League's Queensland ladder. Worth a chase from Hatfield. That wasn't very far away, and a bit of work to do for Green. Let's get it upfield, and perhaps an opportunity, one last opportunity up this right side of the field for the Magpies Crusaders, but they don't get the decision from Total Tools referee James Sherry, and it'll be a long throw coming in once more from Nick Edwards. He can turn a defensive position into attack with these long throws with ease. It was aimed towards Hatfield, but Magpies Crusaders defence does well. We're in time added on. Can't imagine there'll be too much of it. Jaden Salam chases down hard. He's shrugged off that little knock. Another little slip over on that far side. That time it was Alan Jackson. And here's another one for Jaden Salam, just to test out that foot or ankle. With a little skip. James Sherry will take us into half-time. Entertaining first half. It is goalless. We have been far from devoid of goal-mouth action. A couple of sensational saves from Ryan Ramsden, and then a Chris Hatfield effort cannoning back off the crossbar for the host. But Mario Aparicio was far from a freezing bystander out here in Toowoomba. He had to come out and make a couple of brave stops from Lewis Farquhar and Mackay Kwakawoot. And overall, it's been an entertaining first half. It is goalless. And it means that the second half's going to be all the more entertaining as both sides push for a win. Hope you join us after these short messages. Back from Toowoomba, it's South West Queensland Thunder 0, Magpies Crusaders 0.
Great save from Ralph. Been slotted through, saved by Reesley.
lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Football is my favorite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the LD Mini-Roos ambassadors.
wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Catley from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
We swear a lot at Total Tools. We swear by our range. We swear by our service. And of course, we swear by our prices. So you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools. Every tool, every trade.
Football is my favorite. I love playing it with my friends.
When I score a goal, I celebrate and dream of playing for the Caltex Socceroos.
And this is where it all starts, with the Aldi Mini-Roos kick-off program. I grab my shin pads, boot bag, drink bottle and bowl, then join my mates for some fun.
It's great. We learn new skills every week through games and activities. These help us learn about teamwork and respect for others.
My mum cheers me on the sidelines. She loves watching me play. She likes it that football is such a safe sport.
But best of all,
We make lots of new friends.
And if we are lucky, we might run into the LD Miniroos ambassadors.
wow, it's Archie Thompson, he's a legend. And Steph Catley from the Westfield Matildas, she is amazing. Come and join Australia's biggest football program for kids. Come and join us.
I could watch them all day. Even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Corner. That headed clear by, I think, Weatherby. And then it's hooked in again. Carlos! Oh, that is a stunner! That is an absolute stunner from Sean Carlos! Thunderstrike echoing around the Clive Berghofer Stadium here in Toowoomba as the South West Queensland Thunder and Magpies Crusaders make their way back onto the field. 0-0 at the break here, and we're expecting an exciting second half of action. Just while we've got time, we'll just run you through the sponsors who get these players on the park each and every week, starting with the South West Queensland Thunder. They're proudly sponsored by the Federal Hotel Motel and Clive Berghofer Land Sales. Magpies Crusaders, they all wish to thank McDonald's Mackay and the Mackay City Auto Group for their continued support. Just a little bit of interest actually kicking off the half off the field. It's Chris Hatfield who's down getting a little bit of treatment, it looks like for a calf perhaps. We have had a substitution for the Thunder. It looks like Jackson Frank is on the field. But it's not in replacement of Chris Hatfield. He's struggling a little bit at the moment. This might be a little bit of concern for Francesco Zanconelli, who has seen his team create plenty of chances in this first half, but a little bit of worry there for Chris Hatfield. He's almost converted a couple of them, but not far away. I'll tell you what, that's really great sportsmanship actually, just down to our left. The Magpies Crusaders physios just offered some tape to the South West Queensland Thunder physio to help deal with the Chris Hatfield calf injury. Nevertheless, our Total Tools referee James Sherry gets things underway, and it's the South West Queensland Thunder in the blue shirts kicking from left to right who get things underway, and I'm going to start by a miscontrol over on that far side from Nick Edwards. Otherwise that was a promising position. As I mentioned, I did think that I saw Jackson Frank on the field wearing the number 10 shirt. There he is in the centre circle. So yes, we have had a change at half time. I'll try and find out who has come off for the South West Queensland Thunder, but it's not Chris Hatfield, although he is off the field at the moment, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. No, he's done. Oh, what a blow for the Thunder. They've made a change at half time. And it's his calf that the problem is, and there's going to have to be a pretty sharpish change here from the Thunder, and Chris Hatfield looks devastated down in front of us. Very upset. It is that left calf that's causing the problems. We're going to see another substitution. It's going to be Fletcher McDonald, who was on the bench last week, and he's going to come on to make his debut for the South West Queensland Thunder. As the drums roll down to our left. So that's two substitutions pretty quickly. Fletcher McDonald, he's an underage player. He's 18 this year, I think. He's played under 18s. He's scored 3 in 11 appearances for the under 18s and scored 1 in 4 for the under 20s. So played plenty of football this season, but none of it in the seniors. But a golden opportunity for him to stamp his mark on this game, and hopefully we'll see a goal in this second half. It's 0-0 as things stand. It was not from a lack of trying though. Plenty of opportunities for both teams in the opening half. And here's another opportunity perhaps for Cooper. Escape through to him there. Pablo Perez launching the ball forwards upfield towards Jaden Salam. Concedes for throw-in. Long throws by Edwards, and of course all sorts of problems for any team, especially when Cooper gets on the end of them. It's good movement from the Thunder. It's fallen for Sheridan. Sheridan chips it onto the head of Cooper, and he's put it wide. What an opportunity for the Thunder. And Magpies Crusaders have not switched on in the second half. We've had just 3 minutes of it. And you'd have to say they're lucky not to find themselves a goal behind the visitors. Chris Hatfield's cut a rather dejected figure beneath us. We're in a sensational position here at Clive Burkhofer Stadium. We're right on top of the roof of the main stand, so we're hanging over effectively where the benches are. It gives you a sensational view of all the action, and we're going to see plenty of action here. Here's Travis Cooper. Cooper's going to go on his own. Now he goes wide to Latham Dunn. It's also a substitute in the second half. Does that mean the Thunder have burnt all 3 substitutes with 45 minutes remaining? Wade Hall is one of the Thunder players who's been withdrawn, and it has been all 3. We just got confirmation of that from the stadium PA announcer. Francesco Zancanelli rolling the dice here. Is Edwards. And Edwards gets fouled. It's a fairly clear foul, and the old tactic of just saying that you injured yourself while making that foul is being employed over on that far side. This is Isaiah Kennel who committed the foul and conceded the dangerous free kick. Cooper's just strayed back on side, but it was cut out of the first opportunity by Pablo Perez, and here's an opportunity now on that far side for Micaiah Kwakawoot. Just lacking a little bit of pace, Micaiah. He's quite easily closed down. Happened a couple of times in that first half. Here's Cooper at the other end for the Thunder. Turns Jackson. And then does he win a corner? He does win a corner off Tito Jackson, the 2017 Ken Lorimer medalist and Wanderers legend up there in Mackay. You understand the game is being shown in the Magpies Sporting Club, where of course we were during the live stream earlier this season. Fantastic hosts. I hope give you something to cheer about up there in Mackay on what is a busy week of football coming up in Mackay. The Football Queensland Community Cup kicking off tomorrow. And then, of course, the Brisbane Roar taking on the Magpies Crusaders at BB Prince Stadium on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Tickets available from Oztix. So make sure you turn out in force up there, Mackay football fans. And as we mentioned in the first half, should have a rather captive audience. Just adding a couple of layers at half time. Temperature has dropped fairly significantly since the sun's disappeared, as you'd expect up here in Toowoomba in winter. It's not as cold as it might be, not as cold as it appeared to be the other week up here when the fog was drifting across the Toowoomba Sports Grounds, Clive Burkhofer Stadium. And almost stopped us from seeing one of our super saves from former keeper Jacob Sale, who has been exceptional for the Thunder, but has since moved over to the States to pursue a US scholarship in the college system over there. Bez Riai was the other Super Save nominee from Moreton Bay United. Both exceptional saves. You'll have to check them out on the Football Queensland Facebook page. Enjoy all the social action from Football Queensland on Instagram and Twitter. @FootballQLD is your handle for your Instagram stories and live stream information. Of course, the live stream action doesn't finish here in Toowoomba this evening. Be able to join Darren Lutton at Wakerley Park for Souths United against Capalaba in the Football Queensland Premier League. It's 6th versus 8th there. It should be a really entertaining contest. So as you build up to another evening of late night World Cup viewing, may as well enjoy some local action from Brisbane and Football Queensland on the Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's Jeremy Green just skipping over the challenge of the substitute Jackson Frank. Frank does regain possession. Now as South West Queensland Thunder look to build. Here's Webber. Perez. Janssen. Another player losing their footing. It was Anthony Grant. Salam rose to try and claim that header with the Thunder captain Jacob Bigby. It's a neat ball into Dunn. Dunn to Webber. That was nice from Webber. Let the ball do the work. Just over the head of Cooper, but Edwards has it. It's fallen back and now over the top from Grant. Ryan Ramsden imploring his defenders to wake up, and he has a fair point. Magpies Crusaders just haven't come out here in the second half. It's been going for 10 minutes and they've been caught cold on a couple of occasions, and they'll have to be careful or they could succumb to the Thunder and head on their way to a 4th successive defeat in the National Premier League's Queensland after suffering 2 consecutive away defeats to the Pride and Lions by 5-0. I don't think they'll concede 5 here, but we'll see how these things can escalate quickly. Just one other game taking place at the moment as Dan Webber gets past his man, and then Pablo Perez comes across and does very well. It was a rather sedate challenge in the end. It was quite the anti-climax to that move after the crowd really got behind the attacking play, and now Jaden Salam goes down. No foul. The challenge from Sheridan was fair, if not a little firm. Kept in by Edwards. Saying the other game taking place at this present time is the 6 o'clock kickoff up at Walter Park, Moreton Bay and Western Pride, and we have just had a goal there, and it is the visitors Western Pride who get it. It's Duckworth who scored it. Pride looking to bounce back from that rather sensational defeat last week that we witnessed on the live stream. You'll be able to catch the highlights and indeed the full game if you so wish on the Football Queensland YouTube channel. A bit of frustration creeping in there from Lewis Farquhar. Jaden Salam thought it was a Magpies Crusaders ball, and he was proven correct by James Sherry, but still got a copped an earful from Lewis Farquhar for letting the ball run out on the full. Here is Quackawoot. Just overran that one. One challenge skipped past and ball is played forward towards Webber. An opportunity for the counter-attack from the Thunder. It's found its way over to Cooper. Cooper back inside. Tito Jackson was making a little bit of a meal out of that, but ended up coming away with it, and it's now the Magpies Crusaders who will try and play the ball forward through Kennel. Kennel of the Ezra variety. There are two Kennels on the field at the moment. Isaiah, younger brother. That was Isaiah who was chasing the ball forward, and a Thunder concede for free kick there. Cries of indignation echoing around the ground from beneath us. We're going to see our first substitution of the night for the visitors, and it's going to be Jaden Connor who comes on, and he's going to replace Jaden Salam.
Substitute for Magpies Crusaders at number 5, Jaden Connor replaces number 18, Salam.
Jaden Connor's only scored one goal this season, the 20-year-old. But he did score that against the Thunder up in Mackay. Fortunately for him, he then put the ball in his own net later on in the game that handed the Thunder a dramatic 4-3 win. That was the equalising goal at 3-3, the own goal from Jaden Connor after he had scored Magpies third. So it's quite an unusual double to score the third goal for both teams in a 4-3 win. Dare say not unique, but nevertheless unusual. Bigby. Sheridan. Dunn. It's opened up for him a little bit there, but then he wasted far too much time, allowing Perez to stick a foot in. Still there though, Grant playing the ball back, and now Cooper, who's come to this near touch line and is shaping up Jackson, gets a big round of applause for that. And quite the menace on this near touch line has Travis Cooper, and it's caused Tito Jackson a couple of problems. Here's an opportunity for Farquhar, no offside, flag stays down despite the calls from the Thunder bench beneath us. Farquhar forced back to Connor, who's just come on. It's now to Isaiah Kennel. He's forced back even further to Jeremy Green, South Australian. Goes wide to Kennel, receives it back, and now it's Pablo Perez. Alan Jackson. Before Kwakaru, it comes off him second. It's good defence from Lathan Dunn. Enjoying an extended run in the team after only playing 3 games in both 2017 and 16 for the Thunder. He's a Thunder youth product. And helps that ball upfield where Jackson's going to be challenged by Cooper. Cooper got the last touch. Receives it back from Isaiah Kennel. Now Pablo Perez. Green. Back to Perez. Magpies Crusaders taking the pace out of the game as these stand. It's South West Queensland Thunder 0, Magpies Crusaders 0. Headed clear, but Magpies Crusaders retain possession. Patient build up from the visitors in the white jerseys. Green. Wide to Ezra Kennel. Has to go back to Green. Pablo Perez has dropped much further back, but that allowed Isaiah Kennel to receive the ball from his brother. It's just for Kennel's playing at the moment. Back to Green. Farquhar. Dropped very deep now. This is good possession from the Magpies Crusaders. Pace taken right out of the game. The sting from the Thunder has been removed. Perez wants an option. He'll go to Jackson on this near side, who's closed down by Cooper. And that closing down was good, but having worked so hard to regain possession, it's handed over incredibly cheaply by Lathan Dunn. And the Magpies Crusaders will once again build from the back through Pablo Perez. 20-year-old Marquis from Spain. Interestingly enough, Southwest Queensland Thunder lost their own Marquis Southern European during the week. He has left to return to Italy, Federico Riscata. That was just after being handed a lengthy ban for his send-off against Olympic. We've had late drama in the last couple of matches here at Clive Berghofer Stadium. And we're going to see even more late drama, and unfortunately for the Thunder, that late drama has come at their expense. Farquhar goes down. It looked like he was caught. No foul, says referee James Sherry, and now a counter-attack. Finally, some time on the ball for the Thunder, but Nick Edwards can't keep it in, and the Thunder just can't keep their foot on the ball at the moment. It's the visitors who have been controlling possession now for a fair chunk of this second half. It is still goalless though. Thunder 0, Magpies Crusaders 0. Patience evaporated there though, and the ball was pumped long, and that's made things a little bit untidy. And in fact has ended up with the Thunder having possession, and then Jackson was scrambling along the floor. Cooper had near enough given up on that ball, but here's an opportunity now for Farquhar! And the visitors have the opening goal! And the weight of possession has finally told for the Magpies Crusaders, and the hosts face a 1-goal deficit. It's Magpies Crusaders 1, Southwest Queensland Thunder 0. It's Lewis Farquhar's 5th goal of the season. He did score last week against Moreton Bay United in that 2-1 home defeat up there at Solojinkin Oval. It was slightly humorous, although surely not for the Thunder players or spectators, moment during the celebrations as two Magpies Crusaders embraced and looked like they caught Fletcher McDonald in a bit of a Magpie Crusader sandwich. Celebrating with him. I don't think he was overly impressed. No argy-bargy after it, but there's a solid collision that might provoke a little bit of argy-bargy. As we mentioned it, Keegan Sheridan going in incredibly heavily. And Brandon Callaghan. Solid collision, and that's all it was. But that might be what's needed to get the Thunder back into their groove. They were playing incredibly well in the first half, made it a couple of opportunities, particularly towards the end of the opening stanza, and now they face a 1-goal deficit. Callaghan got another blow there, but now Grant, and that's a lovely through ball to Edwards. Edwards, he's letting that run away from himself, but he's going to squeeze through. No, it's not. It was well dealt with in the end. Webber couldn't get hold of it, but the Thunder enjoying a spell of possession themselves now. Here's Dunn. Wants to pick an option. Well, it deflects its way through. It beat two Magpies defenders, but couldn't find a Thunder player in a blue shirt. Connor couldn't keep his foot on the ball, and it will be Sheridan with the throw. Bigby back to Aparicio. But Isaiah Kennel gets his foot on the ball, and Magpies Crusaders, you'd think, will just be happy to retain possession and do as they did in the 10 minutes preceding their opening goal from Lewis Farquhar, and just hold on to the ball and be patient and build the play up from the back. And I won't say bore the Thunder into submission, but just probe about and try and find that weakness in the defence, and they were able to do so and released Lewis Farquhar, and it was a fine finish from the youngster who started the season in South Australia with Adelaide Hills in the National Premier League Division 2 down there in South Australia. He's played for a variety of clubs in the Adelaide area. And it's all falling apart for the Thunder, and excellent patience and excellent work from the Magpies Crusaders. But Perez just communicating with coach Carlos Garcia, who admitted earlier in the week on the Football Queensland website a fantastic preview article ahead of the match against the Brisbane Roar on Thursday. But they are in a relegation battle, but they are fighting, and they're certainly fighting here. And they lead the Thunder by 1-0, and it was that man Lewis Farquhar, who captains the side tonight, who has scored the opening goal just a few moments ago. 20 minutes remaining, plenty of time for the Thunder to get something back out of this game. Warner's played into the near post, it needed to be dealt with, but the counter-attack is on by Grant. Never found its way across to Dunn, who's the only player upfield, and then Perez launches it back upfield. Here's Kwakawoot, wide to the goal scorer Farquhar. Ball over the top for Connor. It's helped out for a throw-in. This is enterprising stuff from the Magpies Crusaders. They've really grabbed this game by the scruff of the neck and done so through weight of possession and territory, and it's been exceptional stuff from visitors, who have lost their last 3 and have lost their last 2 away matches heavily. 5-0 on both occasions against the Pride and Lions. get anything out of this game, and we're having the old toying around of the balls not being thrown back in quite quickly enough. It was Lathan Dunn who launched the ball, a separate ball, back towards where Ryan Ramsden is now meticulously placing it on a particular blade of grass before launching this goal kick from our right to our left. It's a fairly low trajectory and could have worked out for Magpies Crusaders. One for Connor to run onto anyway. Dunn is closed out by his opposite number, Kwakawut, but wins and takes the throw in quickly. There's Kennel this time, Isaiah. Jackson Frank coming on, but then Lathan Dunn was forced to be introduced by the withdrawal of Chris Hatfield, who suffered a left calf injury, and he's in full view of us in our commentary booth here in the main grandstand just above the dugout, and he's cutting a very frustrated figure. He wants to be out there. He was dangerous in the first half, the Thunder number 11. Unable to stamp his mark on the game, and his calf just pinged, I think, coming out after the half-time break. And the pain for the Thunder is, as things stand, set to continue here at Clive Berghofer Stadium. This will be their 5th defeat in 8 at their home ground. Both coaches are showing their frustration now. Carlos Garcia wheeling away and making muttering a few Spanish phrases. It's slightly less lyrical than Francesco Zanconelli, who sang out his frustration a few moments before. And he may well just be trying to warm himself up because the temperature really has dropped. We're all feeling it up here in our commentary position, and I think we're sheltered from the worst of it. You'd expect nothing less from Toowoomba in the middle of winter. Toowoomba, for those of you watching from overseas, about an hour and a half inland from Brisbane. Up on top of the range, flag goes up for Jaden O'Connor's offside. He won't mind, he's just helped that ball out into the sizable dead ball area here at Clive Burkoffer Stadium. They do and have hosted NRL and rugby league matches here, and in fact the officials here from the South West Queensland Thunder were bemoaning the fact that there had been a rugby league festival cutting up the field a week or so ago. Considering all the rain that they've had, it's not looking in too bad a condition, although we have seen a number of players slip in vital positions. Here's a vital position now for the Thunder. It's going to find its way all the way across to Fletcher McDonald, but he had to wait for it, and that was terminal in terms of that opportunity. And up the other end, Magpies Crusaders almost managed to get away. You can see the players really struggling to keep their footing, having just praised the surface. Mikaya Kwakawu really had to put the anchors on and really stuck the wings out to retain his vertical status. No hand involved there from Anthony Grant. It's gone through and across to Frank. Frank's being crowded out of it, rather. Isaiah Kennell is there, and so is his brother Ezra. And now it's hooked upfield by Lewis Farquhar, the goal scorer, towards Jaden O'Connor, who's cut a rather remote, solitary figure at times in this second half since coming on to replace Jaden Salam. He's up there to run and chase after everything. He's working hard, and he may as well work hard because it is freezing now. Ball is not kept in over on that far side, and that's a disappointment for the Thunder. It's Nick Edwards over on that far side who conceded that throw-in. And Ezra Kennell will take his time in getting this ball upfield. The tactics, the time-wasting tactics, surely will come out with just 8 minutes of this game remaining. Kwakawu for touch. Oh, it almost squeezed through, and Jacob Bigby was there to mop things up. It's a lovely touch, that, from Travis Cooper. He's been a threat all day, and he may continue to be so. He had to check his run. It's still going, and now Cooper is a threat. He's going to cut it back inside. 1-1. Anthony Grant's enjoying his most prolific season in the National Premier League Queensland, and he's extended that run with his 9th goal of the season. The 21-year-old from Toowoomba has scored for his hometown side once more, and he's got them out the mire. It's the Thunder 1, Magpies Crusaders 1. And the visitors are rather paying for their tardy approach in this second half of the second half. They've allowed and invited the pressure onto them. And with 7 minutes plus stoppage time remaining, Anthony Grant has pulled the hosts level. It's his second goal against the Magpies Crusaders this season. And Carlos Garcia is very frustrated, and he's about to make a substitution. Caleb Galley will come on. He hasn't played since April against the Raw. He is about to be introduced, and will he make the difference and regain the lead for the Magpies Crusaders? Perez has been pressured by Cooper. And it's now Carlos Garcia who's being forced to encourage his team and ramp things back up again. They lost their way after enjoying such an excellent spell of possession to take the lead. Dunn did well there. Now it's played back out wide by Parrish to Cooper. He wins the throw-in. Off Isaiah Kennell and launches that one deep into the danger zone. Untidy from Frank. There for Parrish. Still there for Frank and Parrish. It's managed to find its way out to Edwards. Edwards plays it straight into Ezra Kennel, but it's still there for Parrish. Edwards. Inside to Dunn. Here's Edwards. Edwards once again finds Ezra Kennel. Be forgiven for thinking Ezra Kennel was some enormous brick wall. He's managed to make a couple of opportunities, and now good work up front from the Magpies Crusaders front pair of Connor and Lewis Farquhar. Too far ahead of Travis Cooper. And all of a sudden Lewis Farquhar, the captain, has pushed himself further forward to join Jaden Connor. The tactics have shifted again somewhat, and we will see Caleb Galea come onto the field very shortly. It's a throw in now. We're going to see that substitution. How will Carlos Garcia shuffle his pack? I think it's Ezra Kennel who's making his way off, the 18-year-old who's played all over the world, Japan and England, and was involved in the Northern Fury Academy last season before the Magpies Crusaders became a National Premier League Queensland team. Ezra Kennel's eventually making his way off. I'm surprised at how long this is taking. Something you don't often see. You often see captain's armbands being exchanged. You don't often see hairbands being exchanged on the field, but that's what that minor delay was from Ezra Kennel, throwing the ball back towards Lewis Farquhar. I'm not sure if this means that Lewis Farquhar is primed and serious about this game all of a sudden, that he's tied his hair back, but in order to be serious, he's going to need the ball, and at the moment, the ball is in the hands or at the feet of the South West Queensland Thunder side, and it's fallen for Dunn. He's squeezed the ball across, shot comes in. It was a good shot by Daniel Webber. I'll tell you what, he's taken a big chunk of Alan Jackson via the ball, and he's struggling to get back to his feet and into a defensive position now, but he does so. It's not going to stop that ball being played through. It was a delightful ball into Cooper, and it's into the arms of Ramsden. Either side could still win this, just 3 minutes remaining, and you have to say at the moment the Thunder look most likely, but it won't be the first time we've had late drama here at Clive Berghofer Stadium in Toowoomba. But the last 3 games here have involved late goals. In fact, there have been 5 goals in the last 10 minutes. As that ball almost flies all the way through. Surely there's a handball. It's offside. Take your pick as to what you want to give for that. It's Travis Cooper who certainly looked from here like used his hand. He was in an offside position anyway. The assistant's flag on this near side was raised instantly and then got taken down for a rather optimistically appealed for penalty. Oh, wow, it was a real mess by Ramsden. The slightly wet surface, once again, claiming a victim. Unfortunately, Pablo Perez was alert to the possibility of that happening and hooked it on, and ball's being played up the other end now to our left, although South West Queensland Thunder will hope to change that pretty swiftly and will do so now through Latham Dunn on this near side. Can he keep it in? He does well. Nice ball by Frank. And Frank wants the corner. Implies something about the assistant referee on this near side. I'm not quite sure what. But it will be a goal kick, and we approach the last minute of normal time. Both sets of coaches are on the edge of their technical area, pacing backwards and forwards. It's fallen for Parrish. Danger here for the Magpies Crusaders. Inside from Cooper to Grant and to Cooper again, and just overran it, and now an opportunity for Farquhar. He's on his own. Good header, strong header from Sheridan. There for Connor, but a little bit lackadaisical. Jackson who takes the throw in. He's taking his time, but a point would be good for the Magpies Crusaders. They haven't drawn a single game yet this season. 1-5, lost 13, so another new experience for the new kids on the block in the National Premier League's Queensland. Set play did not work out, but then Farquhar just stretched and was able to retain possession. Needed to win the ball there and did so, but the Thunder will come again. Here's Sheridan. Edwards inside. Cooper wants it. Cooper gets it, keeps it in. Squared up by Jackson. Good football to Edwards. Lovely ball from Edwards. It's headed clear by Warwick Janssen. A little bit of miscommunication there, but it's fallen for Parrish. They retain possession to the Thunder. And now Webber. Webber tried to get through a maze of Magpies Crusaders, a flock of Magpies, an army of Crusaders. I don't know which one we want to go with. Oh, a little bit of cramp there, is it? For Isaiah Kennel. Hopefully nothing more serious than that, but up the other end is Farquhar. Farquhar's still got possession, needs support. He does have support. And Caleb Galea, he's going to choose to go all by himself. Finds Janssen. Janssen with the cross towards the back post. He's headed back across. Is it Farquhar? It's kicked off the line. Sensational defence from the Thunder. And now up the other end. Frenetic finish here at Clive Berghofer Stadium. A little bit lucky there, Tito Jackson. Needed Ramsden's support though. And we'll catch our breath as we go into stoppage time. And we're in the hands of the referee now as to how much time will be added on. Magpies Crusaders were oh so close with Lewis Farquhar. Had he perhaps committed a little bit more, we might be talking about a famous Magpies Crusaders win, a drought-breaking win for the team from Mackay, but it was excellent defence, and I think it was Jacob Bigby back there who hooked the ball off the line. And Tree saved that ball from hitting one of the cars over on that far side. There's still time. The Bull Boys are operating on a more speed, more haste, less speed, and getting the ball back. It's opening up, is it now for Edwards? Blimey, you won't want to see that again. It'll be a sad way for this game to end if that is how it's going to end. Can't be all that much time remaining. Carlos Garcia is virtually on the field trying to play this ball, and it's a draw, the first draw from the Magpies Crusaders this season. 1-1, the two coaches embrace. It was a hard-fought battle. Exchanged a couple of words as well, but South West Queensland Thunder did incredibly well to get themselves back into it. It's more late drama here at Clive Berghofer Stadium. Anthony Grant scoring an 83rd minute equaliser. His 9th goal of the season to rescue a point for the Thunder, who had looked to be out of it after Magpies Crusaders enjoyed the lion's share of possession in that second half and were rewarded in the 66th minute with Lewis Farquhar's 5th goal of the season that opened the scoring and gave the Magpies Crusaders hope of a victory here in the southwest. As it was, the Thunder got themselves back into the game, and Anthony Grant, who was a menace all game along with Travis Cooper, managed to get that equalising goal, enjoying his most prolific season in the National Premier League's Queensland. For the Thunder, their record at Clive Berghofer Stadium now stands at. Played 8, won 2, drawn 2, lost 4, and Magpies Crusaders, well, they earned their first away draw of the season to go along with their 2 wins and 8 defeats. Don't forget, the football action is not over from Football Queensland this evening. Join Darren Lutton at 7 o'clock on the Football Queensland Facebook page and YouTube channels for the Football Queensland Premier League clash between 6th place Souths United and 8th place Capalaba Bulldogs. That's at Wakeley Park and should be a really interesting game. We hope you stick around for that one. Has been an entertaining encounter here, a lively encounter out in the west. The home side are enjoying the reward of the applause from the crowd, getting themselves back into that game. They did well to do so, and we hope you enjoyed watching them do it. I've been Simon Smale. It's been a double take production for Football Queensland. Enjoy the rest of your football watching weekend. Enjoy the World Cup if you're watching it as well. We're going to duck out of here, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good evening. It's goodbye from us here at Clive Berghofer Stadium in Toowoomba. South West Queensland Thunder 1, Magpies Crusaders 1.